Are you ready to retire? It's a question many of us put off answering until we hit a certain age. But what if that age isn't the only factor? What if you could retire sooner than you think, even if you're not quite at that traditional retirement age? Many people unknowingly delay their retirement because of misconceptions, societal expectations, or the belief that they have yet to save enough. They need to realize that they might already be financially and emotionally prepared for the next chapter, but they need to see the signs. So how can you tell if it's time to leave the 9-to-5 behind and finally embrace a life on your terms? Well, let's get right into it. The idea of retirement being tied to age comes from when the traditional work-life structure was built around pension plans and set retirement dates. But we're living in a different world now. The 9-to-5 grind isn't the only path, and neither is waiting until 65 to start enjoying life. So, when can you retire? Well, let's break it down. If you aim for retirement around 60, you'll want to have roughly 15 times your annual income saved up. That may sound like a lot, but it starts to make sense when you calculate your living expenses. The goal is to have enough invested so that the returns from your savings and investments can cover your lifestyle without you needing to work. For instance, if you make $50,000 a year, you'd want to have $750,000 saved up by the time you're ready to retire. On the other hand, if you plan to retire closer to 65, the target drops down to 10 times your annual income. Why the difference? Because at 65, most people are eligible for Social Security benefits that might have additional retirement savings, like a 401k or pension, kicking in. This gives you more breathing room, but the concept remains the same. How much have you saved, and will it support your desired lifestyle? Now, the earlier you retire, the more freedom and flexibility you gain. If you've got your finances in order and retire early, you're not just walking away from a job. You're walking into a life full of possibilities. You can travel, spend more time with family, pick up new hobbies, or relax and enjoy the fruits of your labor. Retirement can give you the flexibility to do what you truly want, when you want, without having to clock in every day. So how do you know if you're emotionally ready for retirement? Emotional readiness to stop working. Well, one of the biggest signs is how you feel about work daily. If the thought of going to work on Monday makes your stomach drop, or if Sunday evenings are filled with dread, it could be time to take a closer look at your emotional state. That Sunday night anxiety, where you're already counting the hours until the work week begins, is a classic sign of burnout. It's a feeling of exhaustion that doesn't just go away after a weekend off. When work starts to feel like a weight on your shoulders rather than something you enjoy, it signals that your emotional well-being may tell you it's time for a change. Another sign is your level of engagement at work. If you find yourself checking out during meetings or feeling disconnected from your colleagues, it might be because you're no longer motivated by the tasks. When you're emotionally drained, getting excited about work is hard. The passion you once had for your job starts to fade, and you find yourself just going through the motions. That lack of interest in workplace interactions, whether with your team or clients, indicates that you might not be in the right place anymore. Your emotional health greatly affects how you perform and feel about your work. It affects not just your productivity, but also your happiness. If your job has become a source of stress rather than fulfillment, it can seriously affect your mental and physical well-being. It's important to recognize that burnout isn't just about working too many hours or handling stressful tasks. It's about how work impacts your overall sense of happiness and satisfaction. When you start to feel that work is no longer bringing you joy or fulfillment, it's a sign that you might need a new chapter. And that's okay. Work isn't meant to be a constant grind. It should be a place where you can grow, contribute, and feel good about your actions. When it stops serving that purpose and starts draining your energy instead, it might be time to move on. That doesn't mean you're quitting. It means you're prioritizing your emotional health and well-being. Once you're emotionally ready, the next question is, what will you do with all that extra time? If you're yearning to dive deeper into personal passions, retirement might be closer than you think. Desire for more time for personal passions. One of the biggest signs that you might be ready for retirement is the desire for more time. Time to do what you want. Time to travel, pick up a hobby, volunteer, or just focus on things that bring you joy. When you're constantly working, it can feel like there's never enough time to do the things that truly matter to you. So ask yourself, what would you do with your time if you didn't have to work anymore? Think about it. Would you take that long-awaited trip to explore new countries? Maybe you've always dreamed of learning a musical instrument or writing that book you've been putting off. Or perhaps you want to give back by volunteering with a cause you care about. Whatever it is, the desire for more free time to focus on your passions is a big indicator that it's time to move beyond just working for a paycheck. If you often wish for more hours in the day or think about how much more you could do with your time if you weren't tied to a job, it's a strong sign that retirement might be right for you. It's easy to get caught up in the work routine, but when you're constantly craving time for personal fulfillment, it's time to take a closer look at your life and whether you're ready to change. The good news is you can start preparing for retirement without waiting until you're financially ready. One simple exercise is doing a time audit, tracking how you spend your time each day. Start by writing down how many hours you spend on work, meetings, commuting, and other job-related activities. Then compare that to how much time you spend on personal activities or hobbies that bring you joy. If you're finding that most of your time is spent working, it's a sign that something's out of balance. A time audit helps you understand where your time goes and can make you realize how much of it is dedicated to work versus doing the things you love. Once you see the numbers, it might help you understand why you feel like you're missing out on life outside of work. You might even find that you're spending more time at your desk than you thought, which only strengthens the case that it's time for a change. If your time audit shows a clear gap between work and personal life, it could be the perfect moment to start thinking about how to make a shift. That doesn't mean quitting your job on the spot, but it could be the start of planning to incorporate more personal time into your routine. Maybe it's a matter of cutting down your work hours, starting to save up for a more flexible lifestyle, or simply taking a closer look at your priorities. Of course, there's another key indicator of readiness: your professional journey. If you've reached the peak of your career and feel there's nothing left to conquer, retirement might be the natural next step. Reaching the top of your professional mountain. This is a moment that many people look forward to throughout their careers. But what does it mean to have reached the top? For some, it's about achieving all their career goals, whether it's a promotion, hitting sales targets, or receiving recognition in their field. For others, it's about feeling a sense of fulfillment and pride in their work. But there's another side to this. Sometimes, reaching the top means no longer feeling excitement or passion for the work you've been doing. If you've already achieved what you set out to do in your career, you might notice that the fire you once had is starting to fade. Work might no longer feel as rewarding as it once did. You could be going through the motions, completing tasks without the same enthusiasm, or even feeling indifferent about your job. That's a clear sign that you may have reached the top of your professional mountain, and it's time to look ahead to what comes next. Reaching the peak of your career doesn't mean you've reached the end of your journey, though. Retirement doesn't mark the end of personal growth or new achievements. In many ways, it's just the beginning of a new chapter where you can pursue the things you've put on hold while building your career. You may have spent decades focused on climbing the corporate ladder or reaching a specific career milestone, but now it's time to turn your attention to what you've always wanted to do outside of work. Maybe there's a place you've always wanted to visit, or a course you've always meant to take. Retirement allows you to pursue those interests without the constraints of a work schedule. It's a time to redefine what fulfillment looks like for you and take on new challenges that were once out of reach. Achieving career success often leads to a sense of accomplishment, but the next challenge is understanding the trade-offs between maintaining your resources and enjoying the freedom of retirement. Understanding the resource trade-off. As we move through life, we often focus on accumulating wealth. It's natural, right? The more we earn, the more we think we can do, secure our future, enjoy luxuries, and provide for loved ones. But as time passes, something important becomes clearer. Health and time are just as valuable, if not more so, than money. As we age, many realize that no matter how much wealth we accumulate, we can't buy back lost time or restore our health if we've neglected it for too long. This is where the resource trade-off concept comes into play. It's the balancing act between time, money, and health. Early in our careers, we often trade time for money. We work long hours, take on stressful projects, and sacrifice our time to earn more. But over time, the reality sets in. The more we focus on earning, the less time we have to enjoy what we've earned, and the more we may compromise our health. You might find yourself working hard to save for retirement, only to discover that the years spent grinding away have left you less energy to enjoy the fruits of your labor. It's a trade-off that can leave you wondering whether the money was worth it. And here's the thing. Postponing retirement, thinking you can work a few more years to build up more savings, can sometimes backfire. You may find yourself thinking, I just need a little more time to save. But in doing so, you're giving up something more precious, your health and your time. Many people who delay retirement in pursuit of more wealth face the hard truth that by the time they are financially ready, they no longer have the health or energy to enjoy their retirement. The time and freedom they had hoped for may no longer be within reach. The danger of working too long is that you might trade away your time and well-being for money, only to find that by the time you can finally relax, your body or mind isn't in the condition to truly enjoy life. Health problems or burnout might catch up with you, leaving you with fewer years to explore, travel, or do the things you love. In the end, no amount of money can replace your time or restore lost health. So, are you ready to start planning a retirement that's financially secure and rich in experiences, growth, and joy? Engage in the comments section down below as you also leave a like, subscribe, and turn on the notification bell for more amazing videos like this one.